Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, brothers and sisters. I hope you're well and doing brilliant in the month of Ramadan. Ramadan is about to leave us, as you can imagine. If we are alive until next Ramadan, then we will, of course, be talking. If we're not alive, then that's it. Done. 1 year gone. Ramadan to Ramadan is how we count our year. Alhamdulillah. We as Muslims, we count our year from one Ramadan to another. Did your Ramadan, this Ramadan, was it better than last year's? How did you spend your Ramadan this year? What is it that you did that was very different from last year? How did you make the best of Ramadan? That's what I want to ask you, my brothers and sisters. How do you feel about the Ramadan that you've just spent? Was it better than last year? Was it more productive than last year? Do you think, hands on heart, that you've achieved what it is that you set out to achieve for yourself? Or did you just waste an entire program, entire opportunity to become better, more forthright, more virtuous, stronger, closer to Allah? What was it that you did? I want you to tell me, brothers and sisters, how did you do it? What is it that you did that could have been done differently? And most importantly, do you think you have spent the month of Ramadan effectively in the worship of Allah, in becoming closer to Allah, in attaining taqwa, and of course, most importantly, did you attain any closeness with anybody else? Did you attain any closeness to anybody else? Your human being, your fellow human beings, that's what I'm talking about. Does anybody have any idea of the importance of, or do you know the importance of a relationship with your fellow human beings? Do you understand that if you are not close to your fellow human beings, and on the day of judgment you rise with significant amount of good deeds, Allah will throw you in the direction of the hellfire because you may have outstanding issues that you've not resolved from your fellow humans, who could hold you in contempt, who could actually hold you in contempt. They could go and complain to Allah saying, "Ya Allah, X, Y, and Z did not do good to me. They were rude to me, they were lying to me, they cheated me, they backstabbed me, they slandered me, they gossiped against me." They could all come up against you in a long line of complaints. And if they do, what are you going to do, brothers and sisters? What are you going to do? 28th of Ramadan is gone. It's not too late to still ask Allah to forgive you. It is not too late for you to ask your fellow humans to forgive you. It is not too late for you to make the best of this month of Ramadan and find a way forward. Not wait for Ramadan to leave 2 days to go and you still have a chance to make Ramadan make a meaningful impact in your life. Are you going to do that, brothers and sisters? What are you going to do for the rest of the 3 days? Or 2 days, actually 2 days. What, 3 days? 2 days. After Iftar today, we're entering 29th of Ramadan. Friday could be the 29th of Ramadan. It could be the end of Ramadan. Saturday could be Eid. It could be Eid on Sunday. And therefore, either way, what you need to find out for yourself is what is it that you have done for this month of Ramadan that will remain with you for the years to come. What did you gain in this month of Ramadan? I'll tell you what I've gained this year. I've gained an insight into the Quran more than I've done before. I've read Quran left, right, and center. I've read Quran from beginning to the end. I've read Quran in a way that I've never done for a long time. I have been teaching Quran to people, so I had to research the entire Quran and understand the rules that I've been teaching. 30 rules of life I've been teaching people. Today we did the 28th rule today, 28th. Tomorrow we're going to do the 29th and the 30th. Then it's going to be over for us. But it has been a phenomenal experience, an experience that I'll never forget. Brothers and sisters, it's been a phenomenal experience, an experience that I will never, ever forget. And that's why I say to you, while you have the time, have you made the best use of Ramadan in front of you? Or have you allowed Ramadan to come and go and you've not made the best use of it? Why don't you talk to me? Somebody write to me. How has your Ramadan been? How do you evaluate your Ramadan? What do you think you've gained from Ramadan? What do you think has been your positive gains? What is it that you gained from the month of Ramadan? I know we all have gained a lot. I think I've lost some weight. I can see it. I can feel it. I believe I've gained closeness to my family. I've been spending time with them every day. Quality time, a lot of time, alhamdulillah. Unfortunately, I didn't get the chance to spend that amount of time with my mum or my brothers and sisters. But certainly I've spent that time with my own family, wife and children. and that's brought a closer relationship with one another. And I'm very grateful to Allah for that. Brothers and sisters, what has been your highlight? What's the highlight of your Ramadan? I would love to know. Ali Nur Zaman says, Salaam alaikum wa alaikum salam. Ali Nur Zaman, what's been your highlight of your Ramadan? I'd love to know. Let us know. What about the rest of you who are watching from home, wherever you are? What has been the highlight of this Ramadan for you? 28th of Ramadan is about to leave us. 29th of Ramadan could be the last of our Ramadan this year, and could be last of Ramadan for some of us forever, because we may die. We may all leave this earth. We should always be ready for it. As I was lying on my bed last night and I was trying to go to sleep after Fajr, my mind wandered into different directions. One of the directions it went into is, if I was to die, where will I go right now? If I died right now, where will I go? What would be my fate? How will I answer to Allah? What about you? What has been the highlight of your Ramadan? Please let me know. Please tell me. I'd love to hear from you. I'm waiting for my Imam Waddah. If you're listening to me from wherever you are, please join me. I'm waiting for you, and I would like you to come and join me. Inshallah, please, brothers and sisters, if you can, that would be wonderful. Imam Waddah, if you can hear me, please come and join me. I'm going to send him the link again. Brother Yahya said to me that he could not receive the link because it didn't work for him. Let's see if I can send it to him again. I have not changed the link, Brother Yahya, so I'm going to send it to you again. This is my yes, it is. Yes, it is. It is just your last one. It is your last one indeed. Please do come and join us, inshallah. Last of the poems, celebratory poems, perhaps, poem that will bring us closer to our goal of wanting to receive closeness to Allah. I'm still waiting for Sheikh Waddah to come and join us. Sheikh Waddah, where are you? If you can hear me, wherever you are, please join us. We're waiting for you to come and do the Quran. Maybe I should call him and see if he's still around. Maybe he's fallen asleep. I need to wake him up. Maybe he is busy with something else. Let me see if I can find him. Sheikh Waddah is normally available every time I've called him. So if I cannot find him, that means he's become very busy. I will call him for you, brothers and sisters. He's the one who recites out the Quran every day. And Allah bless him. He does a fantastic job. Alhamdulillah. Let me see where Sheikh Waddah is. Waddah, where are you? Please come and join us. We're waiting for you. Maybe he's delayed by Abdullah Quilliam Masjid's own program because they're running the talent show. For those of you who know the talent show, you would know that the talent show has been going on for a while. And they have a full program every afternoon. I think they started about 2 or 3 o'clock. I can't remember. Kabul Chaudhry says, I say, Walaikum Assalam, Kabul Chaudhry. I'm also ringing our Imam Waddah to find out if he's coming. Are you coming to join us for Quran? We're waiting for you. Inshallah, please come. Any surah of your choice. We're going to the end of our, of course, recitation. So, inshallah. This is Sheikh Waddah, brothers and sisters. He's coming right now. I've just called him and found him. He's on his way. So don't get frustrated. Don't get worried. Don't leave. Stay here. He'll be with us, inshallah. We'll also be joined by our dear brother, regular, Brother Yahya. I will be joined by Henrietta, who will be joining us also, sharing with us her kitchen and her insight. And we'll be joined by a doctor, inshallah, at the end, at some stage, inshallah. I hope and pray that the doctor is able to join us too. So where is, how is it going with the rest of you? Brothers and sisters, tell me, what is it that you're doing? How is it going for you? Have you done anything special in the month of Ramadan? And if you've done anything special in the month of Ramadan, why don't you share it with us? Come on, tell us. What special thing have you done this Ramadan that you never did before? How has this Ramadan been very different to any Ramadans in the past? I'd love to know. Because what is better, my brothers and sisters, is what is better than having a fantastic Ramadan? Nothing. Nothing in the world can compare to it. So I want to know from you, brothers and sisters, how has your Ramadan been this year? If you can tell me, I'd be very grateful. I would love to know what and how has it been for you. Go on, brothers and sisters, let me hear it. Right on the side, what did you do in this month of Ramadan? That's right. We're now giving out not giving out. We are asking you to donate for the musallas, inshallah. Musalla, which will be used as a donation for you, inshallah, £100. Sheikh Waddah, assalamu alaikum. You have nicked Mumin Khan's hat, it looks like.
He's cloned it and he's passed it on to us as well. It was about 3 of us had the same hat.
Your audio is very bad. I can't hear you.
Hear me now?
No, it's very bad. Speak up.
Can you hear me now? Bismillah.
It looks like you're very far away, but okay, we'll have to do with it.
Speak again. Bismillah, can you hear me now,
That's
inshallah?
better. That's better. Thank you.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والسماء ذات البروج واليوم الموعود وشاهد ومشهود قتل أصحاب الأخدود النار ذات الوقود إذ هم عليها قعود وهم على ما يفعلون بالمؤمنين شهود وما نقموا منهم إلا أن يؤمنوا بالله العزيز الحميد الذي له ملك السماوات والأرض والله على كل شيء شهيد إن الذين فتنوا المؤمنين والمؤمنات ثم لم يتوبوا فلهم عذاب جهنم ولهم عذاب الحريق إن الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات لهم جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار ذلك الفوز الكبير إن بطش ربك لشديد إنه هو يبدئ ويعيد وهو الغفور الودود ذو العرش المجيد فعال لما يريد هل أتاك حديث الجنود فرعون وثمود بل الذين كفروا في تكذيب والله من ورائهم محيط بل هو قرآن مجيد في لوح محفوظ صدق الله العظيم.
Please do Surah Al-Tariq as well.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والسماء والطارق وما أدراك ما الطارق النجم الثاقب إن كل نفس لما عليها حافظ فلينظر الإنسان مما خلق من ماء دافق يخرج من بين الصلب والترائب إنه على رجعه لقادر يوم تبلى السرائر فما له من قوة ولا ناصر والسماء ذات الرجع والأرض ذات الصدع إنه لقول فصل وما هو بالهزل إنهم يكيدون كيدا وأكيد كيدا فمهل الكافرين أمهلهم رويدا.
Allahu Akbar. I feel like you are on a different steroid today. A good one too, mashallah. What happened with you with all these talent shows? You're in a what's the word? inner talent comes out. MashaAllah, MashaAllah, amazing.
Subhanallah, it's what you hear from the people. When you hear other people, especially the youngsters, they motivate you within themselves. Subhanallah, to find some these, it just reminds you of how pure and innocent Islam really is. When you hear the small souls just reading the Quran and the nasheed, they've got different, mashallah. And we had a special guest today, mashallah, with us, and it was Sheikh Harun, and he's still here, mashallah.
Oh, get Sheikh Harun on, please. Let me say salam to him. I've spoken to him for years. Salam alaikum, Sheikh Harun.
Alhamdulillah, how are you doing?
I'm excellent, alhamdulillah. Even better now that I see you.
As you can see, Brother Moomin, he's forced me to wear the hat as well. Like, I think the inspiration is coming from the hat for me.
Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar. How has your Ramadan been, Brother Harun?
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, so beautiful, mashallah. Even though we've been locked in, mashallah, we had so much opportunity to reconnect to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Sheikh Harun. He is a great inspiration for our community. And next to you, somebody is trying to show his face with his red hat. It's Tommy Bengali Cooper, I call him.
Absolutely. Sheikh helping us with the fundraising. So in the launchgood.com/first mosque, you should be having some donation coming through, inshallah.
Oh,
so,
very good. Alhamdulillah.
2.5 hours we've been plugging it away to the general public to support Britain's first mosque.
We're nearly 35,000, nearly 35,000. At the moment, 34,386.
MashaAllah.
Great.
Inshallah, it will increase. It will increase. People are being generous right now because of the last few days. So inshallah, it will increase.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh Harun. How is your health generally?
Alhamdulillah, mashallah. Alhamdulillah.
You're looking good. You're looking young. You're looking forever the same.
It must be the Tommy Cooper hat that I gave you.
Exactly. Three Moroccans.
Yeah.
Shall I call 3 Musketeers or Moroccans?
There you go. If you call it in the English term, it's the 3 Musketeers,
Yeah, I prefer the 3 Moroccans.
I think, we'll call you 3 Scousers.
Okay.
I need to be out of this.
No, you're one of us now. He's the adopted Scouser now.
You can call us the 3 Reds if you like.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Klopp's army, King Klopp's army.
Alhamdulillah. And how is the mood in Liverpool with COVID-19 and all the people locked in their own houses?
Inshallah.
We're managing. The Abdullah Masjid is supporting a lot of vulnerable people, communities, families by providing hot food as well as food basket, taking it to their houses. So we're delivering hot food over 250 people and homeless and hostels. We're doing in that every day, inshallah.
Wow, 250 a day.
250 a day, just a hot food, Masroor bhai. And there are a number of about 20 to 30 food basket that we give, food parcel. We take them to the families of 3, 4, and 6 children.
Do you want to tell them the story about the food delivery?
Why don't you tell us, Sheikh Harun?
No, he mentioned it was about some deliveries to some asylum seekers.
You know, we were delivering some food
to funny story.
We were delivering some food to the asylum, a family with asylum seekers here. And the brother rang me up. He says, "Can you make the food a bit more spicy, a bit more tastier, less oil?" And he had a request to do so. So I said to him, "Okay, I'll have a word with the chef." We did have a word with the chef, and the chef made it much better. Today he rang me about 2:30 and says, "Brother Mu'min, you're speaking to your chef must have worked. The food is absolutely gorgeous. It's really nice. Thank you so much for making it much better for us."
I think we should all be ordering takeaways from the Masroor.
So if anybody's listening here in Liverpool and they need some food, you can put in some special requests to Brother Moomin. He'll get the exact meal that you need.
Absolutely. You know, we will continue to support these people even after Ramadan. The questions are coming up. What happens after Ramadan? Where do we go? We got no food, no family support. The masjid will support them even after Ramadan. That's why I ask general public to donate into our website, whatever you can. Go to launchgood.com/first mosque, donate there, or even onto our website. If you go there, please donate generously what you can to support the people in need at these difficult times.
Indeed. Sheikh Harun, do you have any words of advice for our community before I let you go? I know we've grabbed you and taken advantage of your presence in the masjid, and we're very feeling blessed.
Well, I'll say the same thing what I said just before in the previous show, that we only have a few more days of Ramadan. And mashallah, this Ramadan, for most people, they've had a different experience because there's nothing to distract you from your worship. But as you get closer to the finishing line, it's like you need the final surge, you need to sprint, you need to rush towards good deeds. So we just encourage people, just carry on reading the Quran, read more Quran, do more dhikr, do more ibadah, do more worship, and also be even more generous in these last days, because in 2 or 3 days, we're going to be celebrating Yawm al-Eid, and Yawm al-Eid is Yawm al-Jawaiz. It's the day where the rewards are gifted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we want to feel that we're worthy of receiving something on the special day celebration. That's Eid.
I like that analogy.
Everybody, just don't slow down now. We're gonna celebrate in a couple of days. Right now, we just need to keep on working hard in getting to Allah.
I like your analogy. A sprint to the end, till the end.
Yeah.
The verse of the Quran, وَسَارِعُوا إِلَى مَغْفِرَةٍ مِّن رَبِّكُمْ. This is the verse that came to my mind as soon as you said that. Guess who has speedily joined us right now?
Is it Brother Yahya Birt?
Yes, there you go. Assalamu alaikum, Yahya.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
We have Sheikh Harun with us, Imam Waddah, and Brother Mumin Khan. You can't see them all. And of course, my humble self. We all are on the screen right now. Do you know Brother Harun, Sheikh Harun?
I believe so. I've heard of him.
Alhamdulillah.
I know of Yahya Birt. I know some brothers who know him, but we haven't actually met before. So
Well, now you have. So you are both buying one musalla each for this introduction. That's £100 bill each, alhamdulillah. Courtesy of me, alhamdulillah. No introduction is free, by the way, in this world. Remember that.
Sheikh Harun is the Khatib of Britain's first mosque, Brother Yahya Birt.
Alhamdulillah.
MashaAllah, a pleasure to meet you. Alhamdulillah.
Although it's a virtual meeting, we will meet you. We will meet in person soon, inshallah.
But the Yahya has this knack for finding very interesting, quirky, exciting poems written by Abdullah Quilliam. And he comes on.
Continue. Can I be excused because we're out
Yeah.
you to leave?
You can go. Jazakallah khair. Allah bless you. See you soon, inshallah. And Brother Sheikh Waddah, Assalamu alaikum. Brother Mumin, Assalamu alaikum. You can stay if you like, Brother Mumin. You don't mind. I know the other two has to go. They have to. Or Sheikh Waddah, you can stay, or you're gonna go.
We need to pray the Asr. We haven't prayed that.
Assalamu alaikum. Allah bless you, Sheikh. No problem. I'm going to let them go. They have to go and pray Asr. Brother Yahya, you and me alone.
Okay, no khair.
Our intimate moment to get to know each other a bit more. What would you like to know about me?
I'm a bit of a shy person, I can't do this on broadcast.
You obviously know I'm not a shy person at all.
I've got a couple of poems tonight on a theme. The Sheikh was, as you know, he was a firm critic of what he saw as Christian hypocrisy in Liverpool. Okay. And he was always keen to point out the superiority of Islam over Christianity, and to point out what he saw as hypocrisy amongst Christians in Liverpool, and particularly how they weren't caring for the poor and living up to their own teaching. So I've picked two poems tonight. One is from 1895, and the other one's from 1897. So this one is actually, I think, this first poem, which is called "Which of Us Was Neighbor Unto Her." And this poem is about something that the Sheikh saw happen on Christmas Day in Liverpool. And he wrote it the following day, on Boxing Day, the poem. So here's the first one. I saw a woman beg in the street on the Christmas day for bread to eat, and loud the church bells were chiming then, the refrain of peace and goodwill to men. I saw a Christian, sleek and well-fed, pass the woman and turn his head. The crumbs that under his table fell that day would have fed the beggar well. Following the Christian churchman came a woman whose brow was stamped with shame. Out of her purse a coin she cast, and the beggar blessed her as she passed. To the church the sleek man went his way. The woman of shame she blushed to pray. Yet which of them more blessed will be, Magdalene scorned or proud Pharisee? That was written 26 December 1894.
Nice, very nice. I like that.
As we know, that the Sheikh was somebody who it was his practice for the Liverpool communities, to feed the poor of Liverpool on Christmas Day. You know, I'm glad that this noble tradition is continuing up until today, that Muslims in Britain today feed the homeless, feed the poor, you know, and even on Christmas Day sometimes. So,
yes. I mean, for example, Abdullah Quilliam Masjid now is feeding 250 people every day.
mashallah,
Every day,
mashallah.
and they will continue doing that even after Ramadan. They are, you know,
Alhamdulillah.
punching far above their weight. Only a very small team of people, but they're doing so much, mashallah, in Liverpool. It's unbelievable.
Mashallah, mashallah. May Allah bless them.
Ameen.
May
Ameen.
Allah reward them. So the second one is called the True Easter.
Go for it. We're listening.
Okay. From one's mere self to rise above all hate and lust and pride, to soar aloft like winged dove, with faith whate'er betide. This is the resurrection time, not Easter morn alone, but every day striving anew, more perfect to have grown. This shall the soul find perfect peace, al-Jannat, blessed abode, where cares and troubles all do cease, lost is the weary load. So may all Muslims rise each day in goodness, truth, and love, from worldly troubles pass away to lasting bliss above. And when their eyes are closed in death and men count worldly store, may angels chant with fragrant breath their good deeds sent before.
Nice. Very nice. Short and very sweet. I like that. Poems, if they're short and sweet, they leave a big, massive, they give you a good punch at the end. Nice. Nicely put. Alhamdulillah. What does it say to you in terms of its meaning?
So it's been a great pleasure and honor to have taken part in the Abdullah Quilliam Mosque's Ramadan program. Jazakallah khair for having me, and may Allah accept the efforts of all of the servants of the Abdullah Quilliam Society. And I make dua and I pray that, you know, that they're able to achieve their goals, inshallah ta'ala, and be able to.
Are you saying goodbye already?
Yes, I am.
Oh, we don't want to leave you. We don't want to lose you. We've had a fantastic time. Alhamdulillah. It's been very good. The poems that you have read has been really taken very well by people. And I have been certainly privy to some of those conversations by people. May Allah bless you for your amazing effort. May Allah give you the best of this world and the hereafter. May Allah give you long life, hayatan tayyibah. May Allah accept the fasting of the month of Ramadan for you and for your family. And may Allah accept all your du'as, inshallah. Please make dua for us.
Inshallah, may Allah give us the best in this life and the next, and may Allah, most kind, most wise, allow the Abdullah Quilliam Society, inshallah, to go from strength to strength, and may the works of its servants be accepted by you.
Ameen, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Thank you very much, Brother Yahya. I'm sad to lose you for today, but I know I'm not losing you from my WhatsApp group and many other encounters that we will have virtually after. But if I don't speak to you before, if I don't see you before, may I extend a warm, happy, joyous, prosperous, fulfilling, exhilarating, brilliant, I don't know how many words I can use, Eid for you and your family.
It will be a small, intimate lockdown Eid, but inshallah it will be blessed.
Inshallah, inshallah. That's the most important Eid. All of us will have having the same Eid. Intimate Eid with our family, our children, and alhamdulillah, that's the most important thing.
And lots of zooming.
True. That's what we're planning to do too, inshallah.
We'll be zooming here and zooming there. And zooming there.
I think.
All right, take care, inshallah. Eid Mubarak.
We're going to lose him for today. Actually, he's not going to come back to our program until maybe later, another time when we do have another program, inshallah. Well, we've been joined by none other than the one and the only. Yes, Henrietta, who has been waiting in her kitchen patiently with her colorful scarf and colorful kitchen. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, sweating away in the heat. That's what's going on. It's really hot in London, very hot today.
Alhamdulillah.
But it's nice now. The evening is really, really pleasant. There is no wind and it's just very, very peaceful. Very peaceful.
I think we should have started in the garden today.
I was thinking the same, but I made a type of soup, so it might be difficult to eat.
Why?
So, well, we can go. It's really nice. It's
it gets too dark.
Yeah, we could do that. Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, what have you cooked?
Well, today I received a very interesting, I love cookbooks, and I received a very interesting cookbook called The Flavors of Andalusia. And what is interesting about this cookbook is that it talks about, it's a travelogue actually of a person who lived in Andalusia for over 25 years. And she looks at every single city's specialties. And I know most of these recipes because I tried them when I was living there. Of course, not the one with pig and the stuff that we are not allowed to eat. But what is amazing is that today I picked a recipe which I tried when I was there. It was a staple, and it's a potaje, which is it's a stew kind of thing, that's slow cooking stew, but I made it more of a soup type. But it's a specialty of Granada, and Granada is very interesting when it comes to cooking because the mixture of spices are a little bit different. They are the most Moorish in terms of the entire Andalus region, so they have the most resemblance of how the Moors used to eat. So this potaje that I made, there's a bouquet that they used to make with parsley, mint, and bay leaf that they used to put either in the meat when they were cooking meat, or they used to put it in lentils. And today I made brown lentils. And the other interesting thing about this dish is that it's very, very simple. It's used to be the poor man's food. It's very rich in flavor. It's full of protein. And it's not your usual kind of dry lentil which has little flavor. It's actually really flavorsome because I had some Spanish paprika in it. I put some chicken stock, and you cook this with marrow. And of course, it's interesting because the same year when Granada fell in 1492, that was the same year when Christopher Columbus went to the New World, thinking he was discovering the New World. But what he actually ended up doing is he brought up a lot of vegetables. He brought back a lot of vegetables to Andalusia, and marrow was one of them. So it has all the flavors of Andalusia. It smells amazing. It's a very simple dish, but I think it will be really lovely. We've got salad, which I chopped up, a wonderful green salad with fresh tomatoes. Tomatoes were also coming from the New World through Columbus after 1492. And then we have carrots in it and cucumber, really nice. It's looking very fresh. We also have some takeaway today. So there is some Turkish chicken, roast chicken, and we have some macarona bechamel, which is pasta with a Turkish bechamel sauce that's got cooked in the oven. We have chicken pie. We have watermelon. We have fruit salad, or there will be some fresh fruit that I will cut up, mangoes, peaches, and watermelon. And we have cold mint lemonade. So that's on the plate today.
Sounds like a plan. I don't know. What are you thinking of doing? I think I should have lost a lot more weight had it not been this lavish food that you're always offering. I would have lost all my weight by now, but it's not working, is it?
Well, I like making a big deal out of it, because I think it's the essence of celebration. It's about honoring a table, honoring each other, honoring the cook, honoring the pots, honoring the fasting, really. So I do make a big deal out of my iftars. I like lots of little dishes instead of a huge heavy meal. So I like having a variety of salads and different smaller bites that it's easier to digest instead of stuffing ourselves usually. But I was very happy with this cookbook because I can see that there are so many wonderful recipes that I can cook. The specialty of Cordoba, lots of different dishes that are very easy to make. Malaga is a specific region. Cadiz is very famous for its fish. So I'm quite excited. Summer is coming, so probably we'll try a few more recipes from this book. But for today, this soup just smells amazing. It's just stewing next to me, and it has this wonderful, rich flavor, but also this deep brown color and the smoked paprika in it. It's probably, hopefully, it's going to be really good. It's nearly done now.
Sounds wonderful. You're making me and I'm sure others salivate already thinking about the food. I think that's not a good thing, but we did invite you to talk about food. Thank you for that. Shall we now have a peek into your Alchemy of Happiness series that you were sharing with us?
Yes, absolutely. So we started talking about yesterday. We talked about quite a lot about the battles within ourselves, the two sides, and I have been talking about this for a few days. But I wanted to expand. Sorry, I'm just moving around. I wanted to expand on this because today there is another layer, another element, which is really, really important. So Imam Al-Ghazali describes that the attributes which are gathered inside of all of us are the attributes of the beasts of burden, some are the attributes of the predatory animals, and some are the attributes of satanic forces, and some are the attributes of angels. And which of these is you? Which is the truth of your essential nature, while the others are foreign and borrowed? If you don't know this, you cannot seek your own happiness, because for each of these, there is a different nutriment and a different kind of happiness. So that was quite intriguing for me to read. But then as you go along and as you, of course, delve into it a little bit more, he then starts describing the two angels in particular. And of course, he explains that really, and we talked about it a little bit yesterday, that your happiness is always going to be relying on light. The dark and those demonic forces and the negativity and the darkness will never take us to happiness. It can only be done through light. And that part of that light is that our some of the things that help us to recognize is actually consciously understand that instead of following the beast of a burden, we should follow the lines of angels. And I know this sounds really grand, and I felt, very much the same, that it's all about becoming an angel. It's not about becoming an angel. It's about understanding that we have a choice. And this is where the free will is a very big topic, so I'm not going to go into that part. But it's about choosing and deciding to follow particular traits of the angelic characteristics. And he talks about two angels in particular. One is consciousness and willpower. And he calls conscientiousness and willpower the religious impulse and lust and anger, the animal soul, in their various levels as shaitanic powers. This then is another battle of the greatest struggle. And then he gives a very clear explanation that first, a human being is created in the character of the beast and is craving for food, clothing, decoration, amusement, and play have been made dominant over him. Then at the time of puberty, a light from the angelic light appears in him, and he sees the results of affairs in that light. Indeed, two angels have been appointed over him, of which the beasts are deprived. One angel guides him and shows him the way by means of light, which spreads to him from the lights of the angel, so that he recognizes the end of affairs and sees the prudence of affairs, until he comes to know himself and God Most High by that light. He understands that the end result of the appetite is total destruction, even if there will be delight for the moment. And what is amazing for me about this is that we know, and I don't know if you have ever thought about this, but I never consciously thought about this. Why is it that after puberty we become responsible for our actions, the cats are running around, our actions and the way we conduct ourselves? It's after puberty when we are responsible. And it's actually explaining this very element, that until puberty, we have all sorts of unruly forces that come and go, and we don't have the capacity to deal with them. Whereas the minute we reach puberty, we have the cognitive, the emotional, the spiritual facility to understand these, and we can actually start making choices. So when you're a teenager, you have everything available for you to make that choice, whether you go down the route of dark or you go down the route of light. And I think for me, that was quite an eye-opener to realize that we knew this inherently, but somehow we don't give importance to what we do and why we do it. And I think it really explains some elements of our development as human beings, is that at puberty something clicks, something happens, and suddenly the world becomes almost like our world is our oyster and we think we know it all. But we actually have to learn how to navigate through life by by consciously making every single choice. This is one of the times, actually, neuroscientifically, we know that the brain is completely messed up in teenage. And I didn't know this when I was a teenager. Probably you didn't know when you were a teenager. But we were so reckless. We didn't know what we were doing. We were, running after things, and we were doing things which made no sense to our parents. And even when I think about it now, even to me, it didn't make any sense. Yet our brain was propelling us to do things. And that just really shows that how we cognitively understand what we do, that's real maturity. And it's about explaining to ourselves that I do have a choice to go down the route of dark, or I can actually choose the light. It is harder for the long term, and even short and midterm, it is a bigger struggle. But ultimately, and I was talking to a friend of mine today, it was really interesting. We talked about our secondary school age, and we were talking about how, the most popular people in our class, where they are in life today. And I was never the popular girl, but I was, and neither was my friend. So we kind of just strolling along, and it was quite strange to see that actually that kind of popularity and reckless behavior in teenage does not guarantee success in life. We looked at how other people have turned out and how they turned their life around. And it's really interesting to see that, courage, maybe it looks like courage, but it's recklessness in young age. Maybe being loud, maybe being, doing things that people dare you to do. There is a recklessness in it, and that recklessness can become part of your character, and it becomes so deeply ingrained that after a while it's impossible to go away from it. So I find it extremely enlightening to think about these things, because I wish I understood this when I was a teenager more, or somebody would have told me. But I think this should be part of the curriculum that we do with our youngsters and our teenagers, because they are not doing things because they are bad or they want to annoy us. They are doing it because their brain is upside down. And neuroscientifically, that's what happens at that age. And this is when there is a choice. Our faith teaches us that we have a choice to decide how we act. But I think we also need to educate our youngsters that you do have a choice, what you do with your life, what you do with the actions, what you do when people are tempting you to do the things that is normal for them, but it's certainly not normal in our faith. Or you want to experiment and you want to try things, but we have to reason with our teenage children and youngsters to explain to them that, that there will be consequences of that behavior, and it becomes part of your nature, and after that it becomes addictive, and it's extremely difficult to move away. I think this is one of the problems of teenage drug use, is that it's fun at the beginning, but it just becomes such a addictive part of ourselves that people feel. And I hear it often, they say, I just feel there's no way for me out. I'm too deep in it. I can't move away from it. It's because we lose that track from the path of the light. And it's the further down we go, the harder it becomes, and it's harder to come back. So I just thought this was really wonderful
very good, very insightful. I'm thinking about our own children. I'm thinking about my own life. Luckily, Henrietta will be pleased to know I've lived a very sheltered life. I've been in a Islamic boarding school all my life. Therefore, I didn't get the chance to do anything reckless. The nearest reckless anything would be, I don't know, to rebel against my teacher who's at my boarding school, not for not providing good food. So that would be my recklessness, but it wasn't reckless. It was just something that I did because I thought it was a good thing to do. I can't think of taking reckless. I don't think I've taken anything recklessly. I don't think I've done anything reckless. Maybe I've led a very sheltered life.
Well, in some ways, I was in a boarding school myself. I was in a girls' boarding school, and I didn't like it because it was very confined. But I really see the benefits of some of those things, because I know I was just not courageous enough, but I was just never drawn to the things that all the girls were doing. And I think maybe it doesn't show up at a time when it's happening, but as I look back, would I change that? I probably would say no, because this really protected me from a lot of things. And from a kind of neuro perspective, I'm thinking how neurology changes when we pick up certain experiences, and and sometimes we are not conscious of how deeply ingrained those things become in our thinking and our, the purity of thought is something that I always admired about people who were religious, because I had some religious friends, although we were not very close, but I admired that there was a purity, there was a certain, not innocence, but there was a clarity in their thought, and I think this is what Imam Al-Ghazali is talking about, is that you cultivate the path of light because consciously you can do that. So I think it's great for all of us at any point in our life to really start thinking about light instead of.
Thank you. We've had Dr. Umar Tahir listening to our conversation from the background, and I'm pretty certain he wants to get involved in this conversation. Maybe addictive behavior is something that he can talk about. Let's get him in. Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Umar Tahir.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How are you doing?
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Good. Bit of a headache today. But otherwise okay.
A doctor with a headache, that's not good news.
Yeah. I stood in a queue for a garden center for quite a while, so I think it was the sun. But alhamdulillah.
Shall I prescribe you some paracetamol?
Yeah, please. Yeah, so a great discussion again. I think the what you brought up about the teenagers' brains is very, very important. Actually, adults, we use the frontal part of our brain to do all our thinking and to weigh things up and to make decisions, the prefrontal cortex. But teenagers use something called the amygdala, which is like a small part in the deep midbrain. So it's not their fault, really. Isn't their fault. They haven't got the capacity.
Isn't there a mallet that I can use to whack them so that they can?
But
that's the traditional way to fix things, isn't it? Just hit it. And,
But you see, what's really interesting is that even in the Quran, it says that on the day of judgment, you will be grabbed by the forelock. And this is the forelock we are talking about.
Yeah,
exactly, because you're not responsible for how you feel, because that's what goes on in the amygdala. You are responsible for what you do with those feelings. So it's actually the executive functioning of the brain is what you're responsible for. So that's the forelock, and fascinating. I love that.
Is this why amygdala, I don't know how to pronounce it, doesn't actually come to full function until a person has reached not just puberty but maturity?
Amygdala is never fully it's not about maturity. Amygdala is what it is, but amygdala is the emotional. So this is your brain. If you imagine, the thumb is your limbic system, and even within that is your amygdala. So it's covered with the prefrontal cortex, which is the thinking part of the brain, the executive bit, and the amygdala is the fear center. This is where you sense fear. So when you walk in the woods and you hear a noise, it's signaling to you that all your emotions, that every emotion you have ever experienced, emotional experience, will be stored in your amygdala, and its job is to keep you safe. So if you hear a noise, you might be worried that someone is trying to kill you, or you want to run to safety. That's your amygdala telling you to go. Consciously you don't know, and amygdala feels it and hears it much quicker than your thinking brain, because you don't make sense when you are fearful. It's your amygdala kicking like, go, because you need to be safe. So it's not about maturity. It is the organ is what it is, but it actually stores every emotional memory you have ever had. And it's really powerful.
Good and clear. Doctor, there you go. You've been given a good lesson today about how our brain works.
It's good revision. It's all in the depth there somewhere from medical school. You have to pull it out.
Hippocampus. It's in your hippocampus and hypothalamus, right?
Are you calling him a hippopotamus? Did you just call him a hippopotamus?
No.
Thank you very much. I'll let you go.
I'm going back to my Spanish potaje. See you later.
Assalamu alaikum. Dr. Umar Tahir, so thank you for that. That was very useful. Is that why people who are addictive in their personalities happen to be also very volatile emotionally?
I think we all have the potential to be addicted to something, and it's usually I think you touched on it actually when you were speaking about your own teenage years, and mine were quite similar. Although I didn't go to a boarding school, but quite a traditional Islamic family, you know, quite a sheltered life. And so I also didn't have any kind of crazy, you know, experiences or anything like that as a teenager. So I think circumstance and situation make a huge difference, a massive difference. You know, and we see this with our patients. Sometimes people, unfortunately, are just, they're in a situation where this is something that's the norm. So maybe it's done in the family, or it's done, you know, in their social circle, and the pressure is just so huge to conform and to do the same, that even I think if we were put into that situation, we would be exactly the same.
Yeah, most likely we do
Yeah,
the same.
absolutely. We've just been very, very blessed, and we're very lucky that we were brought up in a different situation and we didn't have them negative influences.
Do
So I
you
think
reckon? Do you reckon Ramadan is a good opportunity to train ourselves to wean off some of those terribly bad habit and influencing habit that could destroy our lives?
absolutely, Ramadan is the best opportunity, for sure. We all feel it, we all experience it, and we all, I think, make, you know, we all make some effort to do that. Absolutely, it's a month where I was speaking about this just a couple of days ago, where, you know, yourself is just so beaten down. I think we touched on this a couple of weeks ago as well, possibly, that your actual self is just so beaten down with being deprived from its usual pleasures, that it's the perfect time to actually, you know, train it to do good, or to leave bad. And so whenever I, you know, get the opportunity to speak to people or give a reminder or whatever, you know, I always say, you know, if nothing else, you know, just try and pick one thing, you know, that you want to leave, something that you want to improve, something you want to leave behind, and try and do it this month, because you know, it's the best time. It's you have the opportunity, you have your heart is open as well. You're just so much more receptive to doing things that are towards your inclined towards your fitrah, that it becomes much easier for you. So it's the perfect time, and we're coming towards the end of the month now, obviously. But it's what, you know, it's what we should do. We should try to pick something that we've done this month, even if it's just one thing, and just try to maintain at least that beyond, so that we can, you know, continue. And so each Ramadan is not a reset, but each Ramadan is, you know, is a step forward. So obviously it's a lot easier to say than to do, but that should be the aim. And absolutely, it's the perfect time to do
I
things.
think a reset sounds better to me, because, you know, for example, my phone. I'll give you a good example. My phone, or my laptop. After a little while of use, it does have lots and lots of unknown files and folders, malwares, advertising, spyware, embedding itself into the heart of my computer. Unless I regularly cleanse it from all this, the computer is not going to function. Eventually, the computer is going to collapse. So I think Ramadan is a great time to put my entire system to the factory mode, original mode in which Allah created me. And if 30 days is a great opportunity, isn't a great opportunity for doing that, when is?
Yeah, absolutely. It's you're right. It's the perfect time, because you build up, and it's physical stuff as well. It's not just spiritual and mental, but it's all the physical things. You know, all our bad habits, and all our poor diet and all that thing. And because we you know, let's be honest, we live in luxury, and we live in opulence. You know, food is available all the time. All you have to do is open the fridge, or you know, it's not like this was not how things were previously, or how things were meant to be. And you know, we can go and just get anything we want, just go outside and go to a takeaway. So all of this being available all the time, it's easy to just eat and eat and eat, and you don't actually use all the stores of energy in your body. And in Ramadan, your body does that. And so, yeah, brilliant time to reset, get rid of all the negative influences. I think what I was trying to say is that, yes, you know, that needs to be done as well, but that we should aim for each Ramadan to be built upon the last one. So that we're not trying to just get rid of the same bad habits every month. We're trying to improve each year, but obviously it's difficult. When it comes to addiction, it's not easy. It's not an easy thing to actually avail yourself of. You need help. You need professional help, medical help, psychological help often. But absolutely perfect time for reset.
I like the analogy of building on one another. It's like marathon, for example. If I do marathon every year, even if I don't train in between, from one marathon to the next is helpful. I wouldn't recommend not to train. Obviously, you have to keep some level of training going. But if you go to the first marathon without any training, like I did several years ago, you'd be dead. Alhamdulillah, I didn't die. I still survived. But it's important to build on your fitness. Otherwise, your fitness, you lose it all. It's important to keep it sustained. And that's why in our faith, in Islam, sustaining our training in the month of Ramadan only requires 5 minutes of prayer every day, 5 times a day, 10-15 minutes of adhkar every day, 10 minutes to 15 minutes of reading the Quran every day meaningfully with some reflection, doing some charitable work every day, little ones, even if it is just knocking on your neighbor's door to see if they're okay. And these kind of spiritual food that you give your soul regularly, but small doses, keeps it sustained. So when it comes to Ramadan, it's not like an overdose and then a complete cold turkey symptom afterward. You are actually doing a consistent approach. And medically, psychologically, it is something that is proven to be at your detriment if you overdose and go cold turkey afterward. Whereas if you keep consistent, Allah loves it most and your body loves it most and the society loves it most. So brothers and sisters, if you're struggling with any of that, give us a call. We're here. Or actually send us a message. You can hear our conversation. I know we haven't discussed much about medicine today, but who wants to talk about medicine when we are focusing on spirituality and sorting out our spiritual state? Is there a doctor? Is there a doctor of medicine available that can fix our spiritual problems?
Actually, I've met a couple of brothers over the years who mashallah are practicing doctors, GPs, psychiatrists, other professionals as well, and they are traditionally trained, Islamically. I think they've been through possibly Darul Uloom system, done higher education as well, and so these brothers, they usually turn up. They're very rare, but they're very precious, and they turn up at certain events where we need medical perspective and an Islamic perspective, and then they're able to bring both. I'm not one of them, unfortunately, but this is something to definitely aim towards.
Neither am I. I'm just they call me a what do you call a rebel imam who doesn't conform to any so-called apparently.
No, I've never heard that. I've never heard that about you.
Alhamdulillah.
Actually, Brother Ajmal, I forgot to mention this the first time I actually came on the show. I didn't know who you were until 2001 when I joined Liverpool Medical School, and it was the Islamic Society welcome dinner. And I think Brother Abdul Hamid, probably, who's always, he's known you for a long time, I think he invited you to be the speaker at that time. So that was the first time I actually, saw you and heard you speak. And I thought, right.
That was 20 years ago, Mike.
Yeah, exactly. 20 years ago. And so that before that, I had no idea that there was this rebel imam, as you call it, from London.
It's good to be free. Actually, I'm not confined by a mosque. Nobody pays my salary in that way. I can say what I like. I can express my thoughts and feelings freely. I can engage, and I can really cherish the training that Allah had given me the opportunity to be in. Alhamdulillah, I'm very grateful.
Yeah, it's really good to be free of any kind of influence like that, and you're able to be true to your training, your learning, and yourself.
This is one of my biggest bed bugs. If we could free our imams from the constraints of finance, they could do so much. They could do so much. Most of our imams are so sadly bogged down by just having to make their ends meet because they get substandard salary from their mosques. They get, I say, if you pay peanuts, you get monkeys. And sadly, our communities don't wake up and realize this. I know we're coming to the end of our show, and we have explored your brain and your thought a bit without really delving into your medical qualification, but it doesn't matter. We are grateful that you could give us your time. And it's important to know that you have the authority to talk about it if I wanted to medically, and I am very grateful for that. May Allah give you more. May Allah bless your family and accept your Ramadan. Obviously, it's most likely going to be one more or two more, and then we're done. If I don't see you before the end of our Ramadan shows, I can only wish you Eid Mubarak, a happy, prosperous, joyous, delightful, thrilling, exhilarating, everything Eid that you deserve, inshallah, with your family.
Jazakallah khair, Eid Mubarak to you as well. If I may, just a couple of things before I leave. Just a couple of messages for the viewers. So firstly, if you manage to actually achieve or maintain any healthy habit in Ramadan, try your best to maintain it afterwards, whether it's diet, whether it's anything else. And secondly, I'm sure Imam Ajmal and others have done this. Have a great Eid, but don't go and meet your families. Obey the rules. Don't go and pray Eid in a big gathering in the park, and stay safe. It's still very, very important that we keep each other safe. So Jazakallah khair. Imam, Eid Mubarak to you and to all the viewers as well, and remember us in your du'as in these
Inshallah, inshallah. Jazakallah khair. We'll talk to you again, Brother Umar. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Dr. Umar there, ladies and gentlemen, and also from myself to everybody who is watching our program for the 29th night in a row. May I say Assalamu alaikum, Eid Mubarak in advance, of course, but I will see you tomorrow. Probably last show, may not be, we don't know. Take care. Allah bless you all. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.